Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Late Bloomer Author podcast. It's really lovely that you're here and we're hoping that you get something from today's session. So first of all, the reason or the subject of today's session is about AI and how you can use it to help you to write your book. Now, this week, a friend of mine, she's got her own business and she said that she doesn't want to use AI. She doesn't like it. It scares her or she thinks it's cheating or she just doesn't feel comfortable with it at all. And I told her that she has to use it because her competitors are. And if she's not using it yet, the gap between them and her business are going to grow every single day. AI is here, whether you like it or whether you hate it. It's changing everything. So today, Chris and I want to talk to you about AI and what it can and can't do, especially in your writing. And most importantly, why it's not actually cheating. So, as I say, love it or hate it, a bit like Marmite. You can't ignore it. Because if you ignore it, that's a neutral choice. That's an actual decision that you're making to fall behind. So this is what today's session's all about. And I'm really hoping that if you are on the fence or if you're really unsure, you don't like AI, you've just got to go with it. So I just want to introduce Chris. I brought Chris along today because not only is he a late bloomer author like myself and like you maybe, but he is also a software architect and he's a bit of a subject matter, excuse me, his subject matter is AI as well. He's an expert in AI. So he's going to give us a little bit of the techie perspective of it all. So over to you, Chris.
Yes, and hopefully today you'll also hear the fact that AI isn't scary, it's just something else to learn because it's out there. It's now touching almost every aspect of our lives, and we need to start to understand what does it mean to us and how can it best work for us. It's just like any other tool, and we just need to understand in those cases what does it mean to us in so many words.
Okay. I mean, we've both written books and we've both used AI to a
Yes.
degree to write those books. The AI hasn't written the books for us. They're our books, but we have used AI. And what I want to share today to people who are listening is how you can use it to the very best advantage, without actually compromising how you feel about it. And I think with a lot of things that come in, it's different, it's something new. And there's always going to be that little bit of resistance because it is something new. But, there's nothing wrong with using AI. And as I said, your competitors are doing it. So, you really need
it's
to
like
do.
when you learn to drive a car when you're 18 or 17, you get in the car and you go, I'm never going to be able to do this.
That's right. There's just too many knobs, too many levers, and your
you're
feet have
thinking,
got to do too much.
I can't do all this. And
Yeah.
like in lots of different things throughout life, these sorts of things happen where we just don't know. And I mean, there are many of our generation above us who are thinking computers, what the hell, it's so many different things towards technology. As you say, if you don't use AI, your competitor will, and I see that a lot within the business I'm in. But I'm trying to teach people that if you use AI in a way that is with all those safeguards around it and understanding what can it do for you and not that it's taking over, then you begin to start that journey. A lot of companies, they all just want to jump on the bandwagon. And I've been using AI for many years, and most people think that it answers everything. The problem is that people don't understand it's a great tool to ask questions, but remember, it doesn't have always the entire context of what you're asking, because some people actually try to use it for like self-medication, for instance. You can't do that because AI doesn't understand your symptoms. It doesn't understand your journey. It doesn't understand how you got there. So as a research tool, AI is great because there's so much knowledge in there that you can start to say, these different scenarios, because it can have access to lots of information, which is great. And it can't be cheating because most of the time in the past, you would have gone, and there is the T-shirt, I asked Google, and you've asked Google those
Mm,
questions, and you've then had to sort through all that information yourself to find out what's true and what's not.
yeah,
AI is doing that for you anyway.
yeah.
AI is doing the same search across that same and better quality of data, and then giving you that response. It's a research tool, you
I
know?
think the problem with a lot of people with regards AI is because the diagrams or the images that people use is of robots, and people are
Mhm.
thinking the Terminator, and
Yeah,
and they're thinking
Skynet.
of
Yeah,
all these
le-
movies where the robots are taking over the world. And I
Mhm,
think, a lot of them are thinking, oh, if I give it too much information, it'll know more than I do, or it
mhm.
will take over the world. And, thanks to Hollywood, that hasn't helped, I don't think. But,
But
it's,
most of those films, even in Hollywood, came out long before really AI was
yeah,
around. Hollywood gives this preconceived conception that we now have bought into. And
yeah.
unfortunately, it's not that way of in kind. I teach people about it's called human in the loop. Don't give everything to AI. You're the human. You're the controller. Like in
Mm,
anything else, don't take it for granted because AI will also tell you incorrect things, and we call it in the industry hallucination. And this just means it's got multiple choices to give you, and it thinks that this answer is the best answer for
or
what
what you
you're
want to
asking
hear.
or what you want to hear. And this is a hallucination. That's not
Yeah,
fact. It's just a choice. Like with anything, when we talk about with humanity, we talk about intelligence and wisdom. Intelligence gives us knowledge. Wisdom tells us about how we want to
yeah.
utilize that. Wisdom is not what's in AI. AI has the intelligence, but not the supporting bit around her. And that's kind of why we.
So it's not science fiction then. So what actually is it then? What is AI?
Mm,
What is it?
AI,
What is the sort of definition, if you like, in very basic terms for us people that are not techie like you?
it's like having all of that, like the Encyclopedia Britannica, all in one little place with that knowledge.
Mm,
You can tell this because every now and again you see on ChatGPT and Claude and all these other LMs or large language models, they keep changing the model. And you'll see, ChatGPT 5.5, 5.6. And this is where they've taken that model and refined it,
mm,
improved it, because they've got like a model date. So this is the date when everything's up to. And for a long time, it couldn't understand between when ChatGPT came out, its knowledge was up to 2021, not
yeah,
2026
yeah.
or 2025. It was up to a period. Then it changed because it had a connection to the internet, so it could understand what was
Mm,
happening in today's
yeah,
world, and then it related what it had in this model, if you like, to that. So it's like a
yeah.
super encyclopedia with a bit of booster.
You see, the way I think of it, and I think what surprised me the most was how quickly it understood what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like having a personal assistant
Yes.
sitting next to me. And it never gets grumpy, never gets grumpy, never gets tired, never judges. And I do, and you will verify this, won't you, Chris, is
Oh
that
yeah.
if I'm trying to grasp something that's a little bit difficult for me, I will
Mm-hmm.
ask Chat or Claude to answer me as if I'm 5, because
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't talk to me like I'm 5, but it does understand that I need things breaking down,
Mm.
or it'll just go over something and I'll say, no, you need to step back a little bit and break that down into a little
Mhm,
bit more details, because it's presuming that I understand more than I understand. But
mhm,
yeah, I think the thing I really like about it is like having a really well read assistant that
mhm.
understands me, it learns from me, and when I say something, it remembers that that's what I think,
That's
that's what I sound like, that's my voice, that's how I feel,
yeah, but
and it
that's
takes it
that's
all
the
in.
other when Chat came out 2 years ago almost now, Chat was a question and answer service,
Mm.
right? And that's literally all it was. You could ask it things, you could talk to it, but it was very much quite flat. It was impressive, but very flat.
Yeah.
Now we have agents, and this is where it becomes really clever, because these agents can have specialized skills like social marketing, media,
Chris,
also.
whoa.
But Claude and Chat have these built in. We see
Yeah.
them. We don't really see them. They're like a little invisible line, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it look even
Experts
smarter.
in their own field, I suppose. Well, what we're going to talk about today is, as you've mentioned, is ChatGPT. A lot of people have heard of GPT. A lot of people are using it. We've actually moved on from Chat, and we use a lot more Claude now in our business. But for the purposes of this demonstration and for the purposes of this podcast, we're going to talk about ChatGPT because a lot of people, they have heard of it and they've tried it.
A lot
and a lot,
haven't.
obviously, are avoiding it
Yeah,
as
a lot.
well.
A lot haven't, because they can't see what can it do for them.
No. And do you know what's really funny is when you say to people about ChatGPT and you say, have they tried it? And there is always a little bit of pushback. I have come across this so many times, not just this week with my friend, but quite a lot. And then when they get into it, they're like, wow, why wasn't I doing this before? Why wasn't I using this before? So
Yeah.
in the school community, in my school community, the late bloomer author, there is a training. There's quite a lot of training in there, but one of the trainings is called the Bloom System, and it's a set of 5 videos, training videos, and in those videos, I use ChatGPT as the samples. That's the platform that I use. And there's prompts in there that you can use and workbooks and worksheets just to get you started. So if you are a little bit nervous of using AI, using ChatGPT, do the Bloom System first. It's in there. It's on, it's all recorded. You can just play it at your leisure and just have a go.
I think that's
Use the
the other
prompts
thing.
that
I think the other thing is, like you've just mentioned, prompts. Most people wouldn't understand what does that mean.
Yeah.
And a prompt is a way to ask something like ChatGPT in the best possible way to make sure it understands what you're asking. 2, how do you want that answer back? And you can ask it if there's anything that it's unsure about. Can it, ask you questions to make sure the response is better?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
prompts are a very important part about learning about how to ask.
Yes. I think when it first started, I think a lot of people were very generic in what they asked for. So they would get very generic answers. But what you have to do with chat is that you have to be very specific. And one of the great things that I like about it now is that you can actually talk to it as opposed to type. And it doesn't matter if you have pauses, say strange things. I mean, I say that blue thingamajig, and it knows what I'm talking about. And you can talk to it like you're talking to a person. And the more information you give it and the more specific you are in what you want, then the better results that you get.
Exactly.
And that's all comes with experience, it comes with experimenting, and the more and more you use it, the easier it is and the better answers you get. So go and have a go of the Bloom System in the school community.
I mean, there are other things you can do, like you can connect it to your Google Drive. So when you talk about something and it creates something for you, it will save it to your Google Drive. So it's a way of then going back to your Google Drive and open Google Docs and edit away to your heart's content. There's lots of ways to build on the foundation and just keep going. We use it for lots of things, as you know.
And there's, it does integrate with a lot of other platforms as well, like Notion and things like that, if that's what you use. But the great thing about it I like is that I can ask it for something and it'll give me an output. That's not quite right. Can we try with this? And it'll just go, yep, and give me something else. It doesn't get fed up. It doesn't, it doesn't sort of have a bit of a strop if you ask it 10 times for the same thing and just slightly tweaking it. It doesn't get frustrated when you change your mind. It certainly doesn't have any days off or times off. I've been working on it in the evening. I've thought, right, I'm going to bed now, and it'll go, okay, good night. I'll see you in the morning. And, It doesn't tell you that your idea is silly either. You know, most of the time it'll go, what a great idea. It's a bit of a suck up, really, isn't it? It does like to please. It just tries to help you as much as you can. And that's what I like about it. So, you know, this objection that I hear all the time, the big one, isn't it cheating? Absolutely no, it's not cheating.
Because as I say, people would, in the past, if they were searching for information about their topic, they'd just bring up Google.
Yeah.
And they would search in Google for that topic, and then hopefully the answer you're looking for is on the first page or first couple of pages to then sort through. I mean, it's how many people now use chat to search for things and not actually use a search engine like Google.
It has been used a lot more as a search engine. But, you know, just going back to, you know, if talking to the people listening here, is that, do you actually feel if you're doing maths, if you use a calculator, that you're cheating?
No.
If
I mean,
it's
even used in schools now as a calculator. You know, calculators used as part of your exam. You know, because
but
it's
it never
about
used to be.
Not when we started, and then later.
Many moons ago, you weren't allowed a calculator.
But then it became a standard piece of equipment, you know, because it was about understanding the problem and not thinking about the calculator being able to solve it for you.
That's right.
Because you still have to
show your workings out and stuff. But also, you know, if you're going somewhere in the car, you know, if you're driving from A to B, and years ago, you'd get your map out and you'd have to pull over to the side of the road.
Yeah, map books.
To see where you are. But now you've got a sat nav. That's not cheating either.
Yep.
You know, it's using another tool to get you where you want to get. And if you're writing a Word document, 9 times, well, I'd say 10 times out of 10, people have got spell check on there, little red line underneath, and you go, oops. Or sometimes it just changes the spelling for you automatically, so you didn't even notice that you'd spelt it wrong because it corrects it. And these are all tools. And it's exactly the same as AI. It's just another tool. Yeah. And the reason for the discomfort for a lot of people is because it's new. Yeah. But then everything was new at some point, as you said before.
But it's like if many authors, and the well-known ones, they get a ghostwriter to write it.
Yeah.
So is that cheating? Because it's just because it's not a computer, does that mean any difference that's not cheating?
No, it's not.
You know,
and editing, you know, and I mean, you know, if you're going to write a book, you don't get pen and paper. People don't even use a typewriter anymore. Never mind something like a quill and ink. You know, sitting by candlelight, like they did in the olden days. So they use different tools, word processors, research database, editors, as you said, ghostwriters. So AI is just the latest tool on the block.
Yeah,
like every tool,
but only
it's as good as the person using it.
Yeah, but saying that, I mean, there are people, and we've seen a massive flood of books in Amazon where the book, when we've done reviews for books, and you can tell someone has used AI throughout the book and published it to
write the whole thing.
Because they thought it's a get rich quick.
Yeah.
Let's use AI to write all this book.
Yeah.
And there's so many out there. And as soon as we've opened them to read for reviewing, and you go, this is 100% AI.
Yeah.
They've made no effort to do anything.
No changes.
And there is nothing about the author in that book. And we've reviewed it and we've been maybe a little harsh because of the fact they've made no effort.
Yeah.
But that's the other extreme where people think writing is a get rich quick thing. It's not. It's a...
No.
You know,
and to be honest, many authors don't get rich from a book they write anyway. It's from the rest of the stuff, the public appearances, the merchandise, etc., etc. But, you know, the main purpose of today is recognising that AI is to do the grunt work, to do all the heavy lifting. But you as the author, you bring your brilliance, you bring you to your book.
It's like bringing the soul to the book. You know, it's where you've got the information, but then when you put that passion, that real understanding behind it, that comes from back to that intelligence and wisdom.
That's right.
You know, it's our soul.
Yeah. the AI does the hard work, and
Part of the
you
work.
bring the brilliance, you bring the human element,
Bring
if you
this
like. Yeah. So give us an example of when you've used AI in one of your books then.
when we did that 7-day challenge, one of the things that, because it was really early on when we were looking at doing the challenge, and I wanted to create the cover of my book.
Mm.
Excuse me. And I used AI to create the cover of this book, and I created it. I described what I wanted was this, because this first book for the 7-day challenge was Cruise Like a Pro. And it was, I said I wanted a sunset over Santorini with a cruise ship coming
Yeah.
into the bay.
Yeah.
And what AI created was like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
so realistic.
I haven't
And
got that book with me actually. I bet you haven't
no,
got a copy there, have you? But yeah, we'll maybe show it next week. But yeah,
yeah.
that was a good example.
And it was, even though, I didn't use it for the core material or anything like that, I searched for information of topics and subject matter, and then I really put everything together myself and put together everything in my words. But the front cover was wholly AI.
Yeah.
And that was like a real wow eye opener, because at this point, now AI is creating images left, right, and center, and videos as well. And it's like, it's just incredible what it's achieving today. But when we did that, it was like amazing. This image looks so realistic, all from a prompt. And it was like, I don't think I even edited it. It was just like, wow. Yeah. What could you? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the question whether AI is cheating is whether you're quite happy for your competitors to charge ahead of you to get there faster, quicker. Whether you're willing to put all the time and effort and hours and hours and hours into the work that you don't need to do. Spend your time doing the things that you do want to. Spend your time actually writing your book, putting you into your book. And as I say, love it or hate it, AI is here, and if you're not going to use it, then you're just giving yourself a bit of a disadvantage.
A different way of looking at it, excuse me, is one of the books I've written is called, from my work side, because I've strangely enough not written many from a work perspective. I've written from a personal side of things in other topics, as you know, that we're interested in. But one of my workbooks is AI in cybersecurity. It's really important because most people don't think about that bit. And my view is those people hacking into your system, into your businesses, are using AI to do it because it's bigger, faster, stronger, and can see more ways to do it. But if you're not using AI to stop them, then they're at that advantage.
That's right.
Not you aren't, or your system isn't secure. They've just got better tools to break in, and it's really that simple. You could be on that road where there are many people like you today that don't use AI, and you'll stay at that level. That's good. But if you want to be ahead of the game, ahead of your competition, then AI brings that capability.
You have to be there
To you.
Yeah. So coming back to the AI, particularly for writing books, what you have to remember, the things that AI cannot do. For example, if I give an example of this is one of the books I wrote that I did have the help of AI to write with. But the reason I started that book was because I was approaching retirement, because it was my time, and AI doesn't know what it feels like to retire, so it can't help me with how I'm feeling.
The emotional connection.
That's exactly right.
And one of the things which was important with that particular book of yours is that you used AI to create the questionnaire that when you went asking people, you helped gather the information that became the foundation of what you wrote about in the book as well. So which is important.
But as I was saying, the things that AI can't do, helping you to write your book, because it can't be in your head. It hasn't got your background, it hasn't got your experience. It doesn't know what it feels like to raise children, to lose someone that you've loved, to start again at 60, like I did.
Mhm.
It doesn't know your voice or your sense of humour. It hasn't got a sense of humour. It doesn't
Mhm.
understand your warmth, or it
Passion.
can't mimic how you tell a story. And it doesn't know what was the pivotal moment for you, things that changed, maybe, something that happened. It doesn't
Mhm.
understand that because it hasn't been there. It doesn't know what's helped to shape your life. It doesn't even know what you had for breakfast. Only you know these things. And this is the personal bit that you bring to it. And that's what makes your book worth reading, is because it's got your voice, your personal experiences, your knowledge, your know-how, your years and years of experience all throughout life and your workplace. And it doesn't understand any of that. But what it can do is it can help you with the outline, with the structure. It can help you to tell your truth, to tell your story, in a way that maybe you hadn't thought about. It would give you ideas and suggestions that perhaps you haven't thought about yourself.
Or something else that it can do that is quite useful is that you put the book back into AI and it can see whether or not things like that transition from chapter 2 to chapter 3 works. If,
Yeah.
for instance, you've said something in the earlier chapters of the book and then repeated yourself too many times
Okay.
throughout the rest
So
of the book.
if you go logically then, Chris, into that of what AI can do, I think we sort of put together a little bit of a list, didn't we, of things that it can do, starting with, as I say, let it do what we call the grunt work, the things that could take weeks or months to do, and it does it in a short amount of time. So
Yeah.
do you want to go through that,
Yeah.
some of the things that AI can help with regards to writing your book?
Yeah, I mean, I think the sort of breaking down the suggestions for your title is a good one. And the subtitle is really important because
Yeah.
that's like the pain points and how can your book help somebody?
That's
And
right.
it's very good at constructing that sentence. And that's really important later on for getting found on things like
Yeah.
Amazon and stuff like this.
Yeah.
I don't want to say SEO because, again, it's a very IT sort
Yeah.
of word.
Sort of a bit
But
techie.
yeah, but it's being able to be found
Yeah.
in Amazon,
Searchable. Yeah.
searchable. And I think
Yeah.
that's important. Then if you put in what you think is your outline, you can then ask AI, does this flow work?
Mm.
And then see if it makes any other suggestions that you go, oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
you can play around with the structure of that.
So
It
it makes
may
it a bit more logical.
Yeah, and then understanding, as I mentioned earlier, the transitions from one chapter to another,
Yeah.
sort of key points. So like when you write something, you put in your titles and you put in your sort of your subtitles through. So like how I'm going to construct my introduction, and you could type in what your introduction is, and it can then say, "Have you considered this?
Mm.
Is this what you meant?"
Yeah.
And you can start to shape it in a more from a quality point of view,
Mm.
and it's good at that.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting it to say, write my introduction, it will write it from its point of view,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it
But it won't be
won't be
your
right.
voice.
And it won't be necessarily right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it won't necessarily be in the context that you actually meant it to
Yeah,
be.
exactly. Yeah.
So
exactly.
so that part's really important. Don't put your whole voice, if you like, or your whole story in AI and think that it's going to write it for you.
Mm.
Some people do. My belief is that's not the right approach. My
No.
thing is, again, this is a supporting tool. People use Canva, people use word processing, they use lots of other tools to pull together a book or designs or whatever. AI is a support. It's not everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know for me personally, again, in the Ultimate Retirement book, in this book, there is on the back page, there's a QR code that people can go onto, and there's lots of resources on there.
Mm-hmm.
The resources are actually available free to anybody that wants them. I do put them out on socials quite often, and it's things to help you to transition through retirement, or help you with your mindset and things like that.
Well, that's another good thing from the AI point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because you gave a copy of your book and said, I'm thinking about these sorts of resources. And it helped define some of those resources. It didn't create them for you. You still created them, but it helped give you things like, have you considered this as a resource and things like that?
I mean, a lot of the resources were already available, out in the big wide world. What I did with the help of AI is to find the ones that were suitable for the audience of my particular book, what would be useful, because I wanted to give people things that would help them in that transition to retirement, and to help them feel that it's not it's not the end of the world, it's just the next chapter, and it should be exciting and well planned out. You can't go winging it. And as I say, when I'd done the resources, I thought I need to go one step beyond that, because as we've said before, what we don't want to do is when we retire is leave a bit of a shit show for our daughters to sort out. From the retirement guidebook, I then produced the retirement workbook, and there you can list everything. But AI helped me with that. It didn't write it for me, but it certainly came up with some pointers that maybe I hadn't thought about without.
It's very good as a counter check, like that. The voice the voice on your shoulder going, have you thought?
Yeah.
And then again, you either choose to accept its idea or you don't.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
And that's really important. The book, whatever you use AI for, is still your choice.
Exactly. And with regards to, once the book's out there and everything, and you're wanting to promote, AI is, second to none to helping you with your social media, creating posts and blogs and captions and things from the content of your book, because you can upload your book. It definitely will help you. If you go into the school community, there's prompts and information on there. I'm in there. If you're unsure about anything, give me a shout, and just I can help you with something, and help even get started with chat if you're not even sure of how to get the platform to work for you. And with ChatGPT as well, as everything that you need to write your book is all available free. So it's not as if you have to pay loads of money either for this platform. It is available free of charge. So just to to sort of wrap up really, and to say that Chris and I have both written books. AI's definitely helped us both with the books, but they certainly didn't write the books for us. But it made the process faster, cleaner, less overwhelming for a start. So if you've been sitting on a book idea and you don't know where to start, then definitely get into the school community and I can help you there. And if you're in business, AI, your competitors are using AI, so you need to be using it as well. But
and the other thing is, if you're writing a book and you're doing it almost for your business as well, then remember, a book is social credibility for your business too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there are many businesses that are using a book as a lead magnet to generate social credibility.
Yeah.
So a book is a powerful media to do things. You've got then translations, you've got Audible, you've got lots of things that come after that first step of writing your book.
Yeah. Okay. So if you found this podcast useful this week, then don't miss next week. What we're going to do is we're going to be helping you to actually start building your book with using ChatGPT. So there'll be a little bit of live demonstrations going on. It's not a training session, but a little bit of live going on there. If you found it useful, subscribe to the podcast and subscribe to the school community. Join the school community. It's free. There's lots of training in there, and I'd love to see you in there. Make sure you get the Bloom system first, because that is a good starter. And just remember that you're not too late. You're right on time. Thank you from me, and
thank you
thank you to Chris for joining me. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.